Yo, what's up? My name's Sinister Skater. Welcome to the channel and welcome to Worst to Best, the series where I rank each weapon class from worst to best after I achieve Diamond Camo. In this spin-off episode, we're going to be reviewing the FARA 83 and the LC10 the same way we did the new Season 1 weapons. We're going to take a bit more time going over the new weapon stats, strengths, and weaknesses, and then plug each into their respective lists amongst their peers from the original Assault Rifle and SMGs episodes. Because surprisingly, there's barely been any weapon tuning since Season 1, let alone the launch of the game, so those lists haven't changed that much. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, click the like button and consider subscribing. Look at the graph on the screen. Most of my watch time comes from people who are not subscribed to the channel. So if you watch my videos and you're not subscribed, hit that darn subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss the upcoming worst to best. Let's start off with the FARA 83, which is a very interesting assault rifle, and you're going to want to unlock this. It's a fast-firing assault rifle, actually the second fastest in between the Groza and the FFAR-1 at 800 rounds per minute. It takes the title of fastest bullet velocity in class from the Groza with a bullet velocity of 675 meters per second, which is a really important pro. Bullet velocity is crucial in this game, and this follows the trend of like all the new weapons they're adding in the game is that they all have a higher base bullet velocity values, because most of the launch weapons are lackluster in that department. The FARA also takes the Krieg's title of longest base range at 63.5 meters, which is way more than the Krieg's 50 meters. This means that compared to other assault rifles, you'll be taking less shots to kill at range with the FARA, which means you'll have a faster time to kill at range. It usually takes 5 to 6 shots to kill with the FARA. You can kill in 4 if all your shots are headshots. And if you can do that, the FARA has the second fastest headshot time to kill at 225 milliseconds, only behind the AK-47. It's tied for fastest body shot time to kill with the AK-47 at 300 milliseconds. And it's the new fastest killing assault rifle with a time to kill of 375 milliseconds at range. Headshots will also reduce your shots to kill by 1 at range, so this is actually a pretty good weapon to go for headshots with. The recoil ain't too bad on the FARA either. It's a bit bouncy, but way less intense than other fast assault rifles like the Groza and the FFAR. The recoil is actually most similar to the XM4, but the FARA tends to drift to the right. The XM4 drifts to the left, which is uncommon for Call of Duty guns, which is one of the reasons I don't like the XM4 that much. The FARA 83 has the same movement and handling speeds as the assault rifles, except for 2 areas, which is its 2 downsides. The aim down sight speed is 325 milliseconds, which is slowest in class, although not by much, and it has the slowest base reload speed at 2.8 seconds, which is pretty slow, and you'll definitely notice it in game. I have myself. But those are the only 2 downsides that are not that impactful considering all the good things about the FARA. So to rank it on the worst to best list, if we take a look at the Season 1 list, we had the AK-47 at best, followed by the Groza, XM4, QBZ, Krieg, and the FFAR-1 at worst. And I think that the FARA 83 definitely slots in at second best behind the AK-47. This thing is an absolute monster. It's a close one. The FARA is really good. The FARA is better than every other assault rifle in the game. Again, it's faster killing and more consistent compared to everything other than the AK-47. I think the FARA's insane range is going to make it great in Warzone. The increased range also means you can use attachments that reduce your range in multiplayer that you may have strayed away from prior, and you'll still have more range than most of the assault rifles in the game. And the poor FFAR-1. Can we just have a quick moment of silence for it before we jump into the LC10? There's no reason to use the FFAR anymore. It's harder to use and it's slower killing, and there's no bonuses whatsoever for a more challenging weapon. The FARA is literally a better FFAR that requires 1 shot less to kill. Honestly, they should switch the ammo and recoil stats between the FARA and the FFAR. I think that creates some more competition between the weapons. RIP in the chat, RIP in the comments for the FFAR. It sucks. The FARA 83 is great. Let's move on to the LC10. Fun fact, the LC10 is actually made by the same manufacturers of the LW3 Tundra sniper rifle in the Cold War universe, which is why it looks like a mini version of that sniper. Now, the LC10 is most comparable to the Bullfrog with a few key differences. Its fire rate sits between the Bullfrog and the MP5, which is relatively fast for the SMGs. It has the second fastest bullet velocity at 420 meters per second. Again, bullet velocity is important in this game, especially for the SMGs. It's one of the huge drawbacks when using an SMG. 420 is leagues ahead of all the SMGs minus the AK-74U, which is a huge pro for the LC10. When we're looking at the damage profiles, the LC10 is nothing too meta shaking. The AK, the MAC-10, the MP5, they're all still going to kill faster. The LC10 does hold its own though. Again, it's most similar to the Bullfrog, but it kills slightly faster than the Bullfrog at all ranges. The neat thing about the LC10 is what the Bullfrog's claim to fame was before, and that's its extended range profiles. The LC10's first drop-off point is at 21.6 meters, which is slightly better than the Bullfrog, about 2x of all the other SMGs, but its last range drop-off is at 51 meters. We're talking assault rifle range here, which is way more than the Bullfrog. This doesn't make the LC10 a killing machine at range, but it does make it the best SMG to use at range and a super consistent feeling weapon all around, because your shots to kill will most likely be the same in a majority of situations. The LC10 also has easy to handle recoil, almost as easy as the Milano. Speaking of which, the LC10 is tied with the Milano for the second fastest reload speed at 2.2 seconds. Otherwise, it has the same movement and handling speeds as all the other SMGs. So there's nothing really that bad with this weapon. It's just not the fastest killing SMG in the game. So if we look at the Season 1 worst to best list, we had the AK-74U at best, followed by the MAC-10, MP5, Bullfrog, Milano, and then the KSP. And the LC-10 slots in at the new 4th best spot, smack dab in the middle of the list, in my opinion. It creates a hard definition between SMGs you should use and SMGs you shouldn't use, which I'll explain what I mean by that in like 30 seconds. This SMG is one of the few weapons I feel like I have complete control over, and I know when it will and will not be effective, how long it will take to kill an enemy, which is why I really like this weapon actually. Again, it's not the best thing in the time to kill department, although I would argue it's one of the easiest weapons to use in the game now. Improving the stats of the Bullfrog and taking the handling speeds of the Milano and just merging that into one is like actually really beneficial, and if you like either of those weapons, you'll probably like the LC10. The LC10 stats aren't better than the best SMGs, but they sure are better than the average or mediocre one. It's meta-defining in that it makes the Bullfrog in Milano irrelevant. I'm also going to throw the KSP in there too, which is why everything below the LC10 I really wouldn't recommend using anymore. The only thing is that the Bullfrog has that 50-round mag, which may be appealing, but trading better time to kill and ease of use for less rounds to work with on the LC10 is okay in my book. If you disagree, as always, you're encouraged to leave your own list down below in the comments. Don't forget to click the like button, consider subscribing, and if you'd like to help support the channel directly, there's some links down below in the description that you can check out. Peace.